Returning to Irish dance during a pandemic, the emotional factors to consider, presented by Sheila Dupuy, psychologist, teacher, and adjudicator. Hi. The CLRG International Work Group has been working to gather information to help teachers during this unprecedented pandemic. In addition to providing some recommendations on reopening, we've also thought it would be helpful to provide some information on the emotional side of returning to the dance studio and dance hall. It's not going to be business as usual. It's going to be very different. And as teachers, of course, we want to provide a comfortable, familiar, and safe place for our dancers to resume dancing. My first recommendation is to set expectations. It's really important to let the students know exactly what to expect when they return to the studio, how far they're going to stand apart, how that's going to be determined, whether it's stickers or lines put on the floor, who's going to have to wear masks. I think one of the most important things they're going to want to know is who's going to be in the class, because they're going to be anxious to see their friends again. If the length of the class is going to be different, that would be a good thing to inform them of. Maybe the procedure of going in and out of the studio is going to be different. Are they going to be coming in one door and going out another door? The more information you can give them, the less anxious they're going to be when they return to the dance studio. My next recommendation is allow students time to talk. They're going to be very excited to be back dancing, not just so they can go back to actually physically dancing, but because they're going to see their friends and their teachers again. And this is one of the things I've heard over and over again from students, is that they missed their friends. So give them time at the beginning of the class. It might have to happen at the beginning of a few classes as you resume back to your normal schedules. Let them talk about what it's like to be back. Let them talk about what it was like to be home. They're grieving. We're all grieving. Allow them to grieve in their own way. Everyone is going to grieve a little bit differently. Try to stay in the present moment. Try not to say, it's good to say that it's okay and we'll get through this, but don't focus too much on the future or when we get back to feshes or next year when we do this. It's important to stay in the moment and listen, really listen to what they have to say. Validate what they're feeling, whatever it is that they're feeling. You can't fix it. There's nothing we can do to fix it, and there's still a lot of uncertainty. We can still reassure the students that this will be over at some point. We will get back to feshes. We will get back to performances. All the things that they love about Irish dancing will be there. But right now, what can they focus on? What can they focus on? Maybe seeing their friends. Maybe talk about what it was like to have Zoom classes. There's some people that liked some parts of the Zoom class. Talk about what they didn't like. Maybe what they like about being back in the studio. Ask them some open-ended questions, or ask them to just use one word, maybe to describe how they feel. It doesn't have to be a whole group therapy session, but get them talking a little bit. It's really important that they know what it was like maybe for other people who are home trying to dance in a really small space, or trying to dance alone instead of with all their friends and their teachers. So spend some time letting them talk so they can get reacquainted with each other, but also so they can talk a little bit about the pandemic. Another area to talk about is maybe setting new goals. If there's no scheduled feshes in the near future, then some kids might need to set new goals of what it is they're going to work towards. It doesn't always have to be competition. This is a good time to help them reconnect with why they dance in the first place, what their joy is of dancing. They might want to work on certain drills, certain technique. Maybe they want to work on some fun dances or some choreography for shows that will be coming up at some point, even if they dance out in public somewhere while they're social distancing. But help everyone set their own goals, because when they do that, they're going to be more motivated and they're going to be more driven to come into the studio and resume their dance classes with their friends and their teachers in person. Another suggestion I have is to be patient and be flexible. Everyone's emotions are running really high. This has been tough on everybody, whether it's being quarantined, all the things that everyone's lost, whether it's having to learn at home, dance at home, work from home. People might be getting on each other's nerves a little bit. Be patient, be flexible. Listen to any concerns that parents or dancers might have. Everyone's kind of all over the place in terms of returning back out into the community. Some people feel that it's too soon and they want to stay home. Other people are ready to go and they've got their dance shoes in their bag and they're already on your front steps. Again, listen to people and their concerns. For those who aren't ready to go back to the studio, you might consider some kind of hybrid class. Maybe they still want some classes on Zoom because they're not ready. People are going to be anxious. People can be irritable. being patient and flexible is going to help you transition to being open again and help your dancers transition. Another area to be flexible in, maybe one of your students is not in a class with one of their good friends. That could be an issue. If you're able to accommodate them, I encourage you to do that, only because, again, it makes their transition easy, and the friendship seems to be the one thing that people were really missing as they were trying to learn from home through Zoom. So being patient and flexible is also going to cause you less stress. While things are starting to change with this pandemic, there is still a lot of uncertainty, and there will be change. So my advice is don't panic. You've done great so far. With all the sudden changes and the abrupt endings of things and things closing, if you're hit with another barrier, I'm confident you're going to be able to get through it. I think it's important to have access to information, but you might limit some of that information. Instead of listening to all the news stories or all of the guidelines or all of the suggestions out there, pick one or two, maybe three sources to get your information and follow those guidelines. I strongly recommend using the CLRG Reopening Toolkit because I think it has a lot of good information in there. It's been great how the teachers have really come together. They've connected, they've been sharing information, and that collaborative effort really has some good positive emotional benefits. Working together has not only been good for each other, but it's also going to have a positive impact on our dancers and Irish dancing in general. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. There's never been a more important time for self-care than to take care of yourself. It's important to take a break. I know some teachers have been going 7 days, 14 days total with no break and just Zoom classes. It's been a really stressful time, and it's going to continue to be a stressful time because we're not over. The pandemic's not over, and things are going to be different. It's going to be different in the studios, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the next few months. So take a day off. Take a break. I've used the analogy of the cell phone battery with some other teachers that I've talked to. If your cell phone is down to 20% of your battery, you're not going to sit down and try to watch a 2-hour movie. You're just not going to make it. Our bodies are the same. We need to refresh, and we need to regroup, and we need to recharge our own batteries. So take some time for yourself. Take a little bit of time off. You're going to be a better teacher. You're going to be less stressed. And you might even be less irritable. So make sure you take some time. Even short amounts of time can be enough to recharge your batteries. In closing, as you're reopening your studios and dance halls, I urge you to keep calm and good luck. We are going to get through this, and we will get back to some kind of normalcy soon. Thank you.